Amanda Land. Amanda Land. Amanda Land. Hello. Good morning. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Let's just make sure you can hear me before we even do anything else. Can you hear me? Okay. Yay! Good morning and welcome to Views from Amanda Land. Your news and truths by any joke necessary. Thank you for waking up on the right side of history and coming to class. Ready to learn. Ready to learn. Wow, this is very high quality paper. Wasn't expecting that. Really great to see you guys. We are back for another day of talking about how terrible everything is. And yeah, that's where we are. But that's where we are. And that's just what it is. So I see everybody coming into class saying good morning. So good morning to everybody. We have, per usual, a lot to discuss today. You know, that's just kind of the way it goes. I remember when I started this show, like all of a few months ago, I had such a world of things to choose from when it came to the news, right? And I just felt like I was trying so hard to constantly make sure that we were on we had a global mindset. And it just gets harder and harder and harder because we are so impacted by every single thing that's happening right here in the United States right now. So looking forward to tomorrow. Tomorrow we have comedian Che Guerrero joining us for 60-second headlines. And we have author and entrepreneur Jelani Memory. I don't know if you've seen the books, like a kid's book about empathy, a kid's book about racism, a kid's book about etc. It's a really incredible series. And it was started by Jelani Memory. So he is going to be joining us tomorrow to talk about the kid's book about series, why it's necessary, particularly right now. I know Vanessa didn't just ask me if I knew about Cory Booker and I'm doing a news show. Girl, if I didn't know, then you need to go somewhere else and watch somebody who know what they're talking about. Because if I didn't know, then I am not a viable source. and you shouldn't waste your time with me. Okay. That's how I feel. If you came on here and I did not know about that, baby, then you should just hang me up. You should go tell your friends, you know what? I was about Amanda Seals, but she don't really know what she be talking about. She don't really know. But I do. I love when y'all come in class and be saying hi to each other. Like, I really do love it, y'all. And I love seeing like newer folks who are coming in here saying hi to each other. Like, I really do. Like Hamid, shout out to Hamid in St. Louis. Hamid is like, who's new here, y'all? Who's new here, y'all? Miriam, we are the Spider-Man meme right now, but we're going to get to that. Okay. We're going to get to that. I know that the what's it called? The podcast listeners are like, what's she doing right now? What's she doing? I was doing the Spider-Man meme, but I was doing it in the spirit of Whitney Houston and Natalie Cole, which is my favorite GIF of all time. Them at the AMAs. Okay. And also shout out to, let me tell about how y'all be like listening. So many of you all now have your picture as your name, so I can see you. So that if I see you in the streets and you're like, it's me, Tina and Nyongesa. I'm like, oh my God, Tina and Nyongesa, I recognize you. So, good morning. For everybody who missed yesterday's show, listen, y'all go watch it, comment, and support your fellow Amanda Landers who submitted for the Why Palestine assignment. Oh my gosh, they were so incredible. Their responses. Shout out to everybody who submitted. You all are stars. We appreciate you. You are star pupils. So gold star for all of you all. And we got to read and watch videos from folks who submitted video submissions. And it just really was a really beautiful show of just the synthesis of information being filtered through different minds and different souls and different spirits, which I really appreciated. So shout out to everybody who participated yesterday. Again, if you did not check out yesterday's episode, please go watch, leave comments, and subscribe, of course, but support your fellow Amanda Landers who absolutely elevated the conversation. I just realized I don't think I brushed my teeth. And my mouth feels crazy right now. I don't know how that happened. But I'm like, why does my mouth feel like this? These are the things I think about when I think about prison. And I think about like the folks who are getting hemmed up and being deported, the folks that are being hemmed up and being held in detention centers. Like, I just be like, when you, what happens when you come home? Like, yes, sorry. Julie said it exactly. Is it like your teeth are wearing sweaters? Yes. Yes. That's how it feels. It feels like my teeth are wearing sweaters. That thought, unbelievable. The accuracy. Wow, Pantata, you taught adjudicated youth and getting basic hygiene. Yeah, because it's like there's this idea that these things are creature comforts. You're not brushing your teeth so you can have nice breath. Like, you're brushing your teeth because your teeth can get infected, and plaque and cavities can cause infection and also are next to your brain and can lead to really big issues. Not my cashmere teeth right now. I got cashmere teeth. They rocking sweaters. Or if I was in Britain with Reese, it would be, they rocking jumpers. Because, you know, the Brits, they be calling sweaters jumpers. You know, all right. Cashmere canines. Stop, Amanda, stop. Mohair molars. Ooh, child. All right. Well, here we are. I got to get into it. I've got to go meet my accountant today because she's like, Amanda, we cannot. We need to make sure we doing our due diligence. We need to get together and we need to do our due diligence. So you need to come and we need to sit down and we need to look over everything and make sure that we are making everything very clear. Mm-hmm. Shout to Orome because she be having different hair every time I see her. I want y'all to know that I met with 7 accountants before I found one. Because I am at a point now where I trust my gut so sincerely that I just have to be obedient to my gut. And my gut was like, no. The one before her was like, yeah, I'm going to comedy school. They both were from West Africa, so they had similar accents. And I was like, oh, is that right? And he was like, yeah, you know, you are a comedian. Like, you should know that you can do like a show about accountants because, you know, accountants, we have a very interesting life and it can be very funny. And I'm just like, I feel like you're going to be funny with my money. Okay. And I have had incredibly bad luck with accountants. So I just feel like I need to do my due diligence. And my bad luck in the past was typically out of laziness, I feel. And I think the laziness was attached to a lack of discernment because of feeling like I didn't have the financial education to really be discerning. It was almost like, well, they know more than me, so who am I? And I just realized, like, no, you are the person who is involved with this. And at the end of the day, you really just need to be able to understand. They need to be explaining to you. And accountants, for those of y'all who don't know, sometimes accountants get lazy. They kind of get very, I don't know, like, if this is the frustrating part about capitalism, it's like, if you're not pressing people, they think, oh, we don't got to worry about them. Whereas like the ones who be pressing, yeah, they may call them difficult, but they're going to like step up for them. So to answer your question, Reese, how did I ultimately choose the accountant I have? The final criteria was, one, she came in having already researched me. So she already knew the type of business that I have and the type of work that we would need to be doing. Two, she already had pricing. She wasn't like figuring out in real time. And she was already understanding that the pricing needed to reflect the volume, right? It wasn't like this idea of, yes, Connie, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. It wasn't this idea of like, oh, well, I can only do, because I was dealing with that too. Like, oh, we have a list and a grid and all type of stuff. And I was like, I'm not here for that. And then also just, I liked her spirit. And, I had sent out a number of emails, and I think some of them went to spam, and she had actually like reached back out and was like, hey, I think I missed this. Are you still interested? And I was like, yes. And so when we got on, I just immediately appreciated her attention. And I've had women accountants. I've had male accountants. I've never had any non-binary accountants. The gender part of it is irrelevant for me. I've had Black accountants. I've had white accountants. The race part of it is irrelevant for me. Let me tell you why. Because in the United States, capitalism, though it affects folks individually differently based on race, class, gender, there are many people who apply themselves to it within the framework of a very basic we gets money mindset, regardless of their race, class, gender. So, as Miriam Raphael says right here, capitalism and taxation is colorless. Like, I've been cheated by Black accountants. I've been misled by white accountants. I've been ignored. All of it is the worst actually that I've ever experienced was from a Black accountant, to be honest. Twice. I know it's irrelevant. And it's not about that they were Black. It's not about that they were Black that made them less, obviously. But it was that there's a certain part of us that be like, oh, I want to support Black business. But particularly Black folks that are working in white businesses oftentimes are not representing Black business because they're working within the confines of a white framework. So it's irrelevant. Now, if they are a Black-owned accounting firm, that can be very different, right? Because that can be, we are operating from a mindset that is grounded in cultural consciousness. But if they are working, it's the same reason why at the end of the day, I know some of y'all might be in corporate America. I just don't trust folks in general. I just don't trust folks that are aligned and assigned to corporate America. And that Radio 1 actually was what really like sealed that for me, because I definitely thought that being in corporate, I definitely thought that like this was a Black company, so it would operate differently. The best accountant I've ever had was an Indian man, Akshay. Shout out to Akshay. Akshay was the best accountant I'd ever had. And Akshay was Akshay Indian or Pakistani? I think he might have been. No, he was Indian. He was Indian. And I don't know what I'm a Midwesterner, and I just can't pick my life means. So I'm not sure what that means. But I will tell y'all that for me, the metric of a solid accountant is one who will be patient with you, explaining with you. But the only way that works is if you come prepared to ask questions. If you come prepared to make demands, you have to be there. You have to be there. Oh, you were saying in response to corporate. I'm not. Like I said, I know a lot of y'all are in corporations. I don't trust y'all. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, like, I can't trust you. Because the reality is that just like politicians within a political landscape and police officers in a policing landscape, like they've created landscapes where you are indoctrinated. And if you're not indoctrinated, you're held hostage. And they hold people hostage so that they can rule over them. That's just what it is. And when people are ruled over, they do funny stuff. They do funny stuff. Damn, Nasra keeping it a buck. I was a monster when I was in corporate. Like, it's the environment you're in. It's just what it is. It's just what it is. And it's not shade at all. And there we go. Disco Kitchen says, I like those who actually worked in corporate America, then exiled, opened shop, and kept the customer service ethic and preferably. Listen, this right here is the facts, because there's things to be taken away from everything, right? Like there's positives that you can get from everywhere. However, the truth of the matter, though, is that you have to get out of there, or else and they're making it so that you can't get out of there. What I do think is a silver lining, if we're calling it that, because I'm trying to have hopefulness. What I do think is a possible silver lining is that in the privatization that is happening, I hope that there can be a world where we somehow manage to undermine it by only supporting each other. And in only supporting each other, we bankrupt them. And that's going to be difficult. However, I think it can be possible. It's just that it's not the normal way that we think. And so it requires a shift in thinking, which is why I challenge you guys to read books right now that you may not have necessarily read before, or that may be scaring you to read, but that will break your mind out of a comfort space. Like Parable of the Sower is by Octavia Butler. It is somewhat, it is dystopian. That's just what it is. It's dystopian. However, it forces your brain to think, like it's written so precisely in how it presents characters in very difficult situations that have to make decisions that still uphold their character. And so that precision it forces you to, if you're doing your due diligence, it forces you to read yourself. and to expand your thoughts on what you may have already thought you had figured out. The SEAL Squad, we do something called the Passage Posse, where we get together and we actually read a particular passage from a book, because I don't have time to do an entire, like, every week we're reading chapters together from books. So I don't have time to do an entire book club, but we do the Passage Posse. And this month, our book is Parable of the Sower. And so the passage that we will be getting together and breaking down will be from Parable of the Sower. So, and in this particular edition with this cover, there is an interview with Octavia Butler at the back of the book, where she really helps to contextualize not just like the particular book that she wrote, Parable of the Sower, but her concept of sci-fi as it relates to Black people, her upbringing of just like how she was supported in deciding to be a writer, how the content of these books, where did they come from in her vision of the future, etc. Parable of the Sower was written in 1993 and it takes place in 2025. Parable of the Sower was written. Miriam, just DM me. I'll send you the damn book. Like some of y'all in here are like, I'm waiting for the book from the library, and I'm just like, do I need to just send you the book? Do we just need to do a pool and send people the book? Because I'd be like, I'll send you the book. Like, that's how I be feeling. Yes, the Passage Posse is only available for paid subscribers, Paloma. Now remember, you can subscribe for a month and then cancel. It's $5. All right? It's $5. But Patreon is that's my salary. That's how I feed myself at this point. Patreon. So thank you to everybody who has supported and subscribed to Patreon. I appreciate you. Nike Nicole's asking, what else do you do on there? So my SEAL Squad, let her know in the chat. I will also mention some things every morning. Well, I try to do every morning, morning musings, which is really me trying my best to just lift us up, man, and start the day with thoughts and insights and sometimes questions. We've had live events, and now we can do live within the app. So we're starting to do that. So we'll do sometimes I'll do live events, like we did a color and vibe where we all got together and I provided a coloring sheet, but folks also had their own things that they were coloring. And, I play music and we all just sit here and we sit and chat and have community. Ever so often I do Smarty Rants where I will I'll do like a larger breakdown of something that I feel like is being overlooked in politics, or something that I feel like is just not being addressed on the multiple levels it needs to be addressed. So I'll do that. We also have This Week in Amandaland. So every Sunday I do a photo carousel of pictures from my life, because I really don't share that anywhere. So they get there. Then we have Small Doses exclusive content. So you get the videos of Small Doses podcast, as well as you get the bonus question Q&A, as well as sometimes it's just a bonus Q&A between me and the individual. So you also have the full Small Doses archives. And then on Sunday, we have our Small Doses podcast bonus episode where we all get together on Sundays. And Small Doses bonus, I call it the softer side of SEALs. That's what I call it, the softer side of SEALs, because we really sit there and talk about things that I got in my mind, but also things that are going on with other folks. And it just really feels like a hang I don't know. Like, it feels like a hang. Like Pantara said, Sundays are my fave. Like, I really look forward to Sundays. And thank you, Bullet the Bunny. Said Miss Seals might be the most I've gotten out of any Patreon. Yes, and Sonia, the chats keep us all informed. You know, what I really wanted to make sure that I built with my Patreon is not a place for parasocial connection with me, but a place for like social connection with each other. And what I love is that I don't have to be there for the folks in the SEAL squad to be intercommunicating with each other. We have a really dope chat called Pets We Love, where people drop pictures of their pets. And it is a great serotonin filler for the times. Let me tell y'all, for all of y'all on my SEAL squad, there are times where during these times, I literally will just be like, let me go look at the Pets We Love chat real quick. Let me just go look at the Pets We Love chat. Something I also love about the Patreon crew is that it is incredibly diverse in terms of race, gender, and class, but it is incredibly specific in terms of values. That's what I love. Okay? It is incredibly specific in terms of values. The people who are in the SEAL squad are about humanitarianism. They are about cultural competency. They are about objectivity. They are about intellectualism. They are about creativity. They are about each other. And it really is a safe space. And the same way that people like Rolando and Sandy and Elijah are here in the chat to keep the Amanda Land vibe up and on the up and to help support me, is the same way in the SEAL squad. Everybody in the SEAL squad is a moderator. And it's done so with love. You know, there'll be times where someone will be out of pocket and I'll see someone, before I even have to say anything, someone will be like, you know, I really think that you should reconsider how you wrote that and try it again. Patreon, the SEAL Squad is also where I source volunteers for shows. So they get free tickets to shows. They'll also get like free merch and exclusive merch. So all of that. Nasra and Hamid, they're like, I love that. Like, it's really dope when I see that happen. Hey, so maybe you weren't sure about how that came across, but just wanted to bring to your attention that it could present as contemptuous. So Reese, we'll get to it. I'll make sure to talk about it. If I don't talk about it here, I'll talk about it on live on IG Live. I mean, not IG Live, on YouTube Live. So yes, shout out to all of y'all in the SEAL Squad, and join us on the 17th, Thursday the 17th at 7 p.m. Eastern for the Passage Posse. All right, so everyone who's just joining us, welcome to Views from Amanda Land, your news and truths by any joke necessary. I am your host, artistic intellectual Amanda Seals. We do this Monday through Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Please subscribe. Also, remember to watch for at least 20 minutes if you can, and replay the episode with the ads playing. Drop a Seals in the chat if you like anything I've said. And remember, of course, to subscribe to Patreon if you want to level up your support of the work that I'm doing. Also, you can add a super to show support for this space in particular. And also shout out to my shout out to my mom, who was like, you know, mans, you work real long and hard and long to get people who would fight for you. Because I was telling her yesterday how Shorty in the chat had said relax, and my mom was like, I don't like when people say that. And I was like, yeah, but before I could do anything, I mean, I literally was just like, get her out of here. And Rolando was like, she's out. And my mom is like, you have like, it's been a long road to get people to have your back. Even my mama ain't had my back. So thank y'all. I really, like, when I tell y'all, as an only child, man, listen, as an only child, that be resonating. Thank you, Brandon. Brandon said we don't play with you, Amanda. We don't play about you. I mean, I turned off my comments for a year on Instagram because I was like, y'all keep letting people come in here talking crazy to me. And I'm not okay with that. Reagan said, I hate when people tell me to relax. I'm going to crash out. Like, literally, though. Literally. Like, these are the things, though, that when I say them on this show, I'd be like, dang, you done gave them a cheat code. Now you got to work on that. So, shout out to all my other only children. What's up, Isabel? Shout out to my other only children. All right, y'all, let's get into it. My Amanda Landers, you know what to do. Drop in and tell me where you're watching from. Amanda Landers, here to learn. Drop in and tell me where you're watching from. Ooh, ooh, we're worldwide with it. Nationwide with it. Shout out to Durham. I was actually wearing a Durham shirt the other day. We got another Durham. We got Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. We got Columbus, Ohio, Philly, the Bay Area, Lawrence, Kansas, unfortunately. We got Chicago, Connecticut. We got the Bronx, New Jersey, Tejas. We got Portland, Oregon, Brooklyn, Tampa, Florida, Bay Area, back again from Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, Utah. Mamele hitting us up from South Africa. Hey. I was trying to think of a South African song real quick, and I was like, wait, I blanked out. I tengo senga no verwood. I tengo senga un verwood. Or pata pata. Okay, I'm back. Norfolk, Virginia, Atlanta, Georgia, Decatur, Detroit, Michigan, Hopkins, Kentucky. Monica said she's in between patients in Maryland. Monica, are you a nurse? Are you a physician? Please give us the T. We got the D. We have Senegal in the building. Am I just seeing that we have Senegal in the building? Does that mean that we have a new? Are you in Senegal? Or are you from Senegal? Did I just see that we have Guyana in the building? Are you in Guyana? Or are you from Guyana? Okay, because I want to know. I want to know. We got Marita, Mexico in the building. Woo, yeah. The French lady said, woo, child, I've been liking you since you were Amanda Diva. You better take it back. They can never make me hate you. Even if you were wrong, I don't care. I always have the greatest sense of discernment. Thank you. But when was I wrong, though? That's what I want to be knowing. Whenever people be like, I don't agree with you all the time, I'm like, tell me when you didn't agree with me. Tell me a time when you didn't agree with me. All right, y'all. We got Sacramento. We got Toronto. We got Montpellier, France, from Tunisia. Ooh, we got Northeast LA. We got, yes, Senegal is in Senegal. Oh my gosh. Amanda Landers here to learn. Drop in and tell me where you watching from. Beautiful East St. Louis. All of that. We back. Let me add a pin to the map. Cape Town, South Africa. Yay! She said she's from Senegal. And unfortunately in Tallahassee, Florida. I hear that. That is unfortunately in Tallahassee, Florida. This shirt is making my titties itch. Man. Yeah, I just be like, when was I wrong? Tell me. Tell me. Somebody. Just tell me an opinion. That'd be actually a fun exercise. Like, tell me something that you didn't agree with. Because I'm curious. I'm in a land. Because I feel like a lot of times it'd be like, just kind of misinterpretation, you know? Because it's not a back and forth conversation, so there aren't like the opportunity for questions to be clarified. That is correct, Chanel. The shirt may be itchy, but it's matching my glasses and my earrings. So we here. Sandy said titties 2 days in a row. Jack said itchy teeth and titties. Rough. Y'all are really funny though. Like, y'all are really funny. And that's what makes me so joyful. Like, I remember one time I was in the van. Cause like when you shoot in like on location, they'll have like base camp where they have like all of your like the trailers and everything, and then they'll have a shuttle that takes you back and forth to wherever the actual site is. And I had to ride in the shuttle with one of the guys who was like a reoccurring guest star and another young lady, and it was just us in the shuttle. And the guy had been on my series Get Your Life, and he oh my god, tragedy. And he was just a cornball, so like we didn't rock with each other. So I wasn't in his conversation. They were just talking to each other. But y'all, this was like a 25-minute ride. And there was nothing funny said the whole time. They were talking for 25 minutes. And nobody said nothing funny. I was like, I can't. I was like, how is this like by the time I got to base camp, I had to lay down before I could like change and leave. I had to lay down. It drained me. It drained me to be a part of a 25-minute conversation that had nothing substantive. Because if it ain't funny, it better be informative. They talked for 25 minutes about like weather and travel, but like nothing was taught in the travel. It was like, oh, you ever been to such and such? Oh yeah, I've been there. It was cool. You ever been to such and such? Oh yeah, I've been there. It was cool. And I was like, and I had my wig on still, so my hair was tight. My hair was tight. And I was just like, I gotta get out of this van. I gotta get out of this van. So I thank y'all. All right. Have a good day, Miss Latia. Okay, so Tunisia. We are adding Tunisia right here. Yeah. Love it. And then someone was asking if we have Tulsa. Yes, we do. You know what? We didn't have Vegas. So let's add Vegas on the map. Okay. Let's add Vegas on the map. All right. Do we have anybody in New Mexico? We do have Kentucky and Virginia. I know that. We have Kentucky and Virginia. That I know. Yeah, small talk. I don't do small talk. We have a West Virginia? Oh, wow. Cool beans. Okay, I need to see it for myself, though. Okay. Yes, it was giving Get Out. I was just like, I can't. I need to. Oh, my God. I was dying in that car. Dying. All right. I'm in Leaners. Vegas, we on the map. Someone said throwback to when she had another sweater on deck. Yes. I was like, oh, get this out of here. Oh my gosh. All right. Are y'all ready for our word of the day? Are y'all ready for it? Let's do it. Let's get into our word of the day. Okay. I didn't get time last night. When I tell y'all, listen, Pantera was like, that 3 o'clock crash is going to take you out. I think it was legitimately on the nose of 3 o'clock. Okay. Oh, Lisa Price is back. Oh, I got to hit her up and have her on the show. She's a supporter of mine. When I tell y'all, oh, Renato's hitting us up from Brazil. Hey, Renato. When I tell y'all the way that I crashed last night after I had written till 4 a.m., it was a problem though, because I slept from 3 o'clock to 7:30. And by the way, Isabel, when I woke up, I was like, I got to tell Isabel, it was a real good sleep. Because Isabel was like, I can't wait for this nap for you. I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it. And here's the problem though. Then I couldn't sleep when I got into bed. That I went to bed at midnight because I was still trying to and I couldn't sleep. I didn't fall asleep till like 1:30, something like that. So I'm still a little draggy McWaggy today. Rolando's asking the real questions. After an hour, is it still a nap? And Mameli is coming through with an answer. A death nap. A death nap. Okay. A death nap. Listen, I was like, I basically just finished the sleep that I didn't. Here we go. Kismet got it for us, y'all. Kismet got us together. It's recovery. That's what it is. I was convalescing. Yes, Keisha, sleep is bae. You know, I didn't really respect sleep until I was an adult. As a kid, I was like, sleep is the enemy. I never sleep because sleep is the cousin of death. Like, now when I was doing stand-up, isn't that crazy? I just don't do stand-up no more. Like, I just lived a whole life doing stand-up, and then I was just like, I'm done. I did my 11 years, and I was like, y'all got it. When I was doing stand-up, and I would have 10:30, 10:30. Oh my God, Amanda. When I was doing stand-up and I would have a 10:30 spot, sometimes you'd have a 12:30 spot. I would literally just take a 20-minute nap and be back at it. Actually, there's a video of me when I was filming my documentary, In Amanda We Trust, where I took a 20-minute nap on Jamal Bowman's couch in his office. He wasn't there yet, but they was setting up the lights, and I was like, I'm gonna take a nap right quick. And they was like, how you gonna take a nap? I was like, watch me. Also, from being on sets, I can sleep anywhere. Okay? I can sleep anywhere. So it's like, what we doing? And to be quite honest, when I was on Insecure, they wasn't talking to me. So I would just sleep. By season 4, we weren't having casual convo, me and them ladies. So I would just take that as nap time. Okay. Let's get into our word of the day. Today's, where's my words? Sarah says she fell asleep during a Justin Timberlake concert and a Madonna concert. I ain't gonna front. I fell asleep at a Chris Rock show and at a Wanda Sykes show. And it ain't got nothing to do with them. I'm just old. And so here's the thing that I've noticed about me. Talking will lull me to sleep. Talking, I don't know if it's the rhythm of it or what. It will lull me. Chanel said, now wait a minute, Sarah. It will lull me to sleep. I fell asleep to my own podcast. To my own podcast. Do y'all understand? I fell asleep to my own because something about the talking, it kind of just, now that I say that, that's what I need to do when I can't sleep. I just need to play a podcast. It just I don't know. So, it's not shade to them because something about the talking just gets me. I've had to struggle during certain interviews of small doses where people's the tone of their voice lulls me to sleep. I'm not exaggerating. And it's not shade. It's not like what they're saying isn't interesting. It's something about the tonality in their voice. It just hits my frequency. And it's like, good night. Good night. So long, farewell, Avivers, and goodbye. Goodbye. Okay. Today's word of the day is jettison. Oh, I accidentally hit a button. Sorry. Before I get into the word, someone on here was saying Jigglypuff. Yesterday, I mentioned my friend, John Price, who was murdered when he was bouncing at a club in Long Island. Rest in peace to John Price. John Price was he was like the first homeboy I had in college who helped me to understand more about like relating to dudes and stuff. And I remember this brother had really like messed up my mind. And I remember I was sitting in the cafeteria and John walked by and he like leaned over the seat and just whispered in my ear, "Don't never let a nigga take your smile. Don't ever let a nigga take your smile." And I hear that to this day. Like there's just certain things that people tell you that happen at a time where your soul needed to hear it, and it's like stored. And so rest in peace to John Price. I'll show a picture of John Price one day. But John Price would always go, Jigglypuff, Jigglypuff. Now, I don't know nothing about Pokemon except for that. I don't know nothing about Pokemon except for Pika and Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff. So actually, you know what? I gotta show y'all a picture of John Price. While we talking about him, I'm gonna show him some love. Hold on. Okay. Oh, my music wasn't playing? What? Why isn't this playing? What is going on? Oh, okay. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm messing things up. Okay. Sorry. So this is my homegirl Shantae in the middle, and that's John Price, and we went apple picking. Geek. I am always smiling harder than everybody in the picture. I'm always smiling harder than everybody in the picture. I always look like the cheese ball. It's so annoying. Like, always with this. It never fails that I am always smiling harder than everyone in the picture. Here I am. And you know what? I have an even better example of this that I'm about to show y'all, because it really is a classic example of Amanda's always smiling harder than everyone in the flipping picture. Stand by. It's going to be worth the wait. Wait for it. And the thing is that I feel like everybody is just as happy as me to be in the picture. But for some reason, mine is my face be fully contorted. Like I'm just happy to be there. Happy to be there. I was definitely happy to be picking those apples. All right. Here's a perfect picture of a perfect example of this. Okay. Here's this picture. You know what? Let me just send it here. Here's this picture. This is a incredible picture. All right. You're going to really appreciate this picture. And, Jigglypuff, Jigglypuff. Rest in peace to John Price. That was my main, man. That was the homie McHomie right there. Boy. So I'm always over smiling. Like, it's not that I'm over smiling, but I'm just always so happy to be there. Look at this picture. Okay. Look at Tessa. Look at Gabs. Look at Lauren. Look at Nia. Look at Tracy. Look at Melody. I don't know these folks. Look at Amanda. Just why? Too smiley. They're always serving face. Everyone, no, they're not even trying to be cool. That really is them. Okay? That really is them. That's how they are. They're just they're naturally serving face. I do not know how to serve face. So let's start there. Look at Lauren and Nia. Just serving face. But I like all of them. All of them sisters in this picture, I like all of them. All of them have always been super kind, super dope. They have jokes. Even Nia, we had a little beef, but we cleared it up. Actually, that was the night where I saw Nia. I saw Nia and she came up to me like, "What's up?" And I was like, "Oh, we cool now?" And she was like, "You too bad for me to stay mad at you. You a bad bitch. I can't stay mad at a bad bitch." So shout out to Nia, because Nia will call somebody out. But I think when me and Nia had our little beef, like it was legit. So, but that's the good sis right there. And Tessa is so lovely. Everybody lovely. Shout out to Melody Asani. If you don't know her clothing line and jewelry line, it's really dope. Am I wearing a Melody Asani piece today? Usually I got some Melody Asani on. But yeah, let's tell the news. I be thinking I'm on here to hang out with y'all. The word of the day is jettison. Can anybody use jettison in a sentence? Jettison is spelled Jettison. It is a word meaning to cast out. It is a verb meaning to cast out. Jettison. Jettison. Can anybody use it in a sentence? I would love to see the Congress people who have handed over not only their own power, but the actual structure that was somewhat keeping this country going to the MAGAs jettisoned from their positions. I would love to see that. All right. Itch says the Democrats jettison their populist voters. That is correct. Bullet the Bunny, Amanda jettisoned her LA life for authenticity in New York. You know it. Kicked it to the curb. Finley said the appearance of Jigglypuff in the chat jettisoned Amanda from her seat. That is correct. Yes. Can we please jettison Trump? That's correct, Quentin Swain. Thanks, Rachel. Rachel said, thanks for sharing that awesome photo. You're welcome. Sarah Nutter said, musky front, jettisoning our rights out from under. You better say that with a musky front. We just call him Musty. Elon Must. And for white people in here who don't know what must means, must is a black term for B.O. Must. Ooh, you can't be musty. Nasra says, when I'm watching the news, I want to jettison into an alternate universe. I agree with you. Oh, Earth is ghetto. I want to leave. Shout to Aaliyah Sheffield. Lee Daniels said, it seems that this country's political practices continue to jettison morality, humanity, and common sense. You ain't never lie. And Celine, you are correct. We also need to jettison Mayor Adams for being a tyrant. Y'all! Rachel Porter, this was her first time using one of the vocab words in sentences. Yes! We are learning. We love it. We love it. We love learning. All right, and since we love learning so much, we got to get into it. Wait, one more for the road. Chanel Green said, I don't know who need to hear this. Actually, Chanel, let me put some spice on it real quick. Hold on. I don't know who need to hear this, but girl, jettison that man out of your life. Ooh, child. Do it. Yeah, I found some college pictures. Shout out to college. Remember Brandon Victor Dixon? He was on the show the other day. Here's a picture of younger Brandon. That's young Brandon. And young Manda. Thinking about just what we gonna do, y'all. What we gonna do. I'm mad that my face looked like that at that age. Just pensive. What we gonna do, y'all? What we gonna do? I love when people come in here acting like they dropping knowledge on us. Who do you think you're talking to? You don't got a picture and you don't got a name and you in all caps. So let me just let you know right now, since you're new here. Okay? First of all, if you're going to operate within this space, don't be yelling. Okay? So let's start there. Second, we here at the Views from Amanda Land Squad, we Amanda Landers, we already know this. We know that both parties are controlled by the same group. We know that. I don't know who the you is that you're talking about that was divided, but they did not divide us. Not us here, because we squad. Okay? All right. Let's get into some information. How about it? Because I know there's people that be in here like, I came here for the news, not to see your college photos. And I respect it. Okay? I do. I respect it. Let's start with some 60-second headlines. Amanda Land. 60-second headline. And I run down some news right quick.
Run it down, mama. Put us on.
All right, let's get into some 60-second headlines. I'm going to round out 60-second headlines talking about Cory Booker. But first, we got to talk about Canada, because Canada ain't playing with us, all right? The Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford, had this to say.
We're moving forward with a 25% surcharge on electricity exports. For the 1.5 million American homes and businesses that Ontario powers, homes and businesses in Minnesota, Michigan, and New York. This surcharge will cost families and businesses in these states up to $400,000 each and every single day. If the United States escalates, I will not hesitate to shut the electricity off completely. Believe me when I say I do not want to do this. I feel terrible for the American people because it's not the American people who started this trade war. It's one person who's responsible. That's President Trump.
There you go. One thing that I find funny about Canada is that they be reading the prompter, but it's like, this don't sound like a speech. This sound like you wrote this in notes on your phone. You know what I mean? Like, it just feels like let me just tell y'all, this is what we doing. Because, you know, in the US, they be trying to write these speeches to sound a lot more, they just be trying to sound a lot more erudite. But it seemed like in Canada, they just be like, hey, so nah, we not doing that. Now, Andrew says, though Doug Ford is a conservative clown, because I actually don't know anything about Doug Ford, is a conservative clown like his brother, he is well in his right to do this with Disaster and Tweet's craziness. Disaster and Tweet is, yeah, that's sharp right there. We're with it. But yeah, they be trying to sound eloquent when we have these, you know, speeches that they know they don't talk like. Canada, they're like, I just left the hockey game. We're going to turn your lights off. Quit playing with us. So there's that. So that's Premier Doug Ford and what he had to say. All right. Let's talk about screw process. Well, what are you talking about, Amanda? I want you to say his name. Kilmar Arrego Garcia. Kilmar Armando Arrego Garcia. The Trump administration conceded in a court filing Monday that it mistakenly deported a Maryland father to El Salvador because of an administrative error. And they argued that they can't return him because he's now in El Salvadorian custody. Arrego Garcia, who attorneys say fled gang violence in El Salvador. Okay? He fled gang violence. And because a lot of people do not understand how gang violence exists, there is this misperception that gang violence only involves people who want to be in gangs and people who are just kind of like innocent bystanders in the wrong place at the wrong time. And if anybody has watched anything or read anything or heard anything from actual gang members, whether we're talking about the Bloods and the Crips or the Peaky Blinders, they consistently involve regular innocent people in order to carry out things that they have decided are going to be expansion for them. That may mean your store, we need your store now. That may mean we need you because you're not a gangster to come and, you know, be a front for us as an individual. That may mean we're going to use your doctor's office as a money laundering, etc. They do this all the time. And the punishment for not going along with this may not even be your death. It may be your children's death. It may be your wife, your family, etc. So it's really something that I think a lot of people have not understood when they are seeing so many migrants coming to the United States that are leaving because of gang violence. It's not because they're trying to escape, like they were in the gang and they're defecting. That's not what it is. A lot of times it's no, I have to leave or else my family is going to get murked. Or I have to leave because they murked everybody in my family. I remember when I went to Tijuana with the organization It's All About Humanity, and we spoke with people who were at the border awaiting to see if they would get their asylums approved. And there was a woman that we spoke to who said first they came for her husband, and then her husband was like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not going for it. And then they murdered her husband. And then her son, they came for her son. And he was like, I'm not going for it. And they dismembered her son. And so she left the town that she had lived in Mexico. She left with her other son so that he would not suffer the same fate. And they were saying that she may not get asylum because asylum is about if your government is a danger to you. and gangs are not considered a part of the government. Now, I will say this. They're now saying that these gangs are a part of the government in Mexico, so it kind of is contradictory to the way that they have structured these immigration laws. But it is absolutely horrific, Jax. It's 100% deplorable. And when they're saying that certain tattoos may make you a member of a gang, they will tattoo you. They will tattoo you. Also, if you're 13 and you're in a gang and then you made your way out, made your way to the States, made an entire life with your family, now that you are 43 and these people want to create a slave labor force, they are coming now to charge you up. I mean, I just don't. El Salvador prison has 70% of their own civilians because of quota. And yes, Elijah J., it was called branding during slavery times. So this individual had been identified by his wife in a photo of detainees entering intake at El Salvador's notorious mega prison, CCOT. CCOT has been considered a death prison, a concentration camp, if you will, because they have had an inordinate amount of deaths related to torture, food, living conditions, lack of medical care, etc. The filing stems from a lawsuit. There has been a filing, okay? So they had to respond to this. Let me also make this clear. There are many people who are suffering the fate of Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia. He just had the fortunate ability to get a filing on the record that the press have now gotten all scammed up with. Not scammed up, that's not the right word I was looking for. That the press have now gotten, focused on. The filing is from a lawsuit over the removal of Kilmar, and he was granted protected status by an immigration judge in 2029, prohibiting the federal government from sending him to El Salvador. They then explained that the clerical error that got him in this situation was that people were removed from the manifest, and as people were removed from the manifest, other people were moved up, and so Abrego got moved up. Why are you on the manifest in any way? Why are you on the manifest anyway? The administration has argued it cannot bring him back because he is in Salvadorian custody, and they have knocked down concerns that he will be tortured or killed in CCOT. For those who are traveling, I want you to know that this is not solely related to individuals who are immigrants. And when I say this is not, I don't mean that they are at the point now where they are transporting American citizens to these prisons, but the harassment of Americans has absolutely begun. And it doesn't matter if you are an American citizen or not. If the people in immigration want to mess with you, they're going to mess with you.
If you are a U.S. citizen, either by birth or naturalization, if you are traveling within the next few months, just keep in mind that when you are entering the country, they can put you in a room and take your phone. This includes your laptop, any type of electronics, cameras as well, and they can go through it. So I would suggest that if you are traveling, carry a burner phone with you, or if you have photographs, if you have things that are on your social media that might trigger anything. So this might include anything against the administration or anything regarding human rights, humanitarian causes. Just delete everything that is on your phone. So like delete the apps, delete anything, and factory reset your phone. Just make sure that you have everything backed up in cloud. And then once you cross the border, just make sure that you re-download it. So whenever you are traveling, either carry a burner phone or just do a factory reset so that way they don't have access to your phone. You do not have the same Fourth Amendment rights that you would when you are on land. So they are allowed to seize your phone, and some of the individuals that I've spoken to have had their electronics confiscated and then mailed back to them after a few weeks. So just keep in mind that is something that's going on, and just be cautious about what you have on your phone because they are allowed to search it.
So this is where we are. And I'm going to talk about this more in my PSA. This is where we are. Levon, I'm trying to be serious. Gosh damn it, Levon. I'm trying to be serious. She said New Zealand better get ready for us. Listen, it's giving Gestapo. And Yasmin said because of her name, she's always on a watch list. Golly. You know what? Gabrielle Sidibe said that she could never get an American Express because of her name. And until she married her Jewish husband and got his last name, she was then approved for an American Express. We're living in a McCarthy era on a different level, though. You know, the McCarthy era was in many ways, you know, it was disruptive, more so I would say economically, but now like they're, you know, incarcerating people. And I don't know enough about that McCarthy era, but I do know that it really was attacking people's livelihood. I don't know if they were incarcerating people, however. And yes, I think Fatima, because of the technology, it's worse because there's just a lot more access that they have to what you're about. And I feel you about the clouds. Like, I mean, it's just all of it is real. So Rachel, where are you at? Rachel says she laments for us all. Where are you at? I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to talk about this later, and I'm curious to see. This may be one of the times where y'all are like, I disagree. You know, because I was saying, like, when do y'all be disagreeing? I disagree. Speaking of process, though, and this is why I titled this section "Screw Process." Ultimately, the Constitution says very clearly that anybody on U.S. soil is given the rights of the Constitution. Like, that's what it says. The 14th Amendment doesn't say anything about citizens. It says if you're a person. And it says, as a person, everyone here has the rights to the Constitution. And the Constitution says very clearly that you are given due process. And there's this reason, there's this literal, like, very projected reasoning that's happening from these MAGA voices that says that if an immigrant is here, they do not have any rights at all. But I need it to be again reiterated. Immigrants who are here, in many cases, are here legally, and they are paying taxes. They are acting as citizens in the process of becoming a citizen. It's literally part of the whole process that you have to show and demonstrate that you are really, really about it, rowdy. So that's what it's supposed to be. Now, due process, yes, the Patriot, I wouldn't say that it completely did away with due process, but the Patriot Act actually absolutely did make it a lot more difficult to get due process. The Patriot Act says, you know, we can search through your stuff, and if you have anything that we feel is problematic, that we can hem you up. But you still get to see a judge, don't you? You still get a lawyer, don't you? Or no? Correct me if I'm wrong, please. I don't know why you all thought it would just be 4 years of this. That's like really weird to me. Because 4 years, one, is a really, 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 really long time. And all of this has happened in less than 3 months. So let's start there. 2, 4 years, and then what? Like, you think in 4 years, everybody was just gonna like come vote and they would be okay with that? Like, I don't know why y'all thought that. Like, that's weird. But that comes from, and I do know why y'all thought that. You know what? I do know why y'all thought that, and I'm not going to shade you for it. If I was shading just now, I'm taking it back. I'm taking it back. Light. Because I know exactly why y'all thought that, and I'm going to talk about it in my PSA. But I can promise you that there's not going to be an election in 4 years if this continues. That's not going to happen. Okay? Now, what's happening right now, and I don't know if it's ended because I'm on here with y'all, but Cory Booker Cory Booker is standing up in front of these people talking. He is talking on the Senate floor right now about or against Donald Trump. Now, people are calling this a filibuster. This is not a filibuster. A filibuster is when you speak to delay a vote. He's just doing a long speech. And, I'm curious from you guys how you feel about this, because I'm seeing a lot of people who feel really empowered by this. They feel like this is what they wanted from Democrats for quite some time. They wanted to see them standing up. They wanted to see them challenging and standing firm, as Peter Beinart said. They wanted to see them really outwardly saying, we're not gonna take it. No, we're not gonna take it. We're not gonna take it anymore. Like, that's what they wanted to see. Do you feel like this is an example of that? Let me hear it from you guys. Okay. Folks said, well, Laurel Hendrickson said, so this is quote unquote action. So many people are like, finally. And I'm like, finally what? And okay, same. So I knew it was going to be y'all. I knew, because I was like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like this is performative. Here comes Blacktown Hall said Cory Booker is performing. Rolando said performance politics. Nasra said performative question mark, but that was a rhetorical coming from Nasra, I feel. A performative. Bella the Bunny said, hell no, it ain't. Isabel said, not until he's on some roller skates will I feel like he's really doing something. Yeah, okay, so Jera Oliver says there are some Ohio Republicans in the state legislature who want to push for a convention to alter the Constitution to impose federal level term limits. But that feels like a trap, just an open door. And Jera, I agree with you. Like, a constitutional convention literally allows for everything that they're saying they want to do in Project 2025 to be done. Just so you know. Melissa de la Rosa says, I was nervous to reach out for the volunteer help, but I woke up even more determined. Oh, you must be late in the viewing, but I like that you feel this way. So Yasmin agrees with Nasra and the rest of us that it feels performative. Let's see what Slick and Salacious says. It's also related to people being so okay with words being redefined every couple of days. Because the Patriot basically said, if you're labeled I call it a T-Ryrist, that they can do whatever. Yeah. So Tatiana, you have mixed feelings? Tell us more. Can you type more? Because I want to know. Illstore 8500, love it, but he won't talk about the elephant in the room. And I think that you mean Israel. Correct me if I'm wrong. So Rachel says, I wondered if it was performative since he didn't do his constituents he didn't support his constituents from when Trump did his speech, and he didn't walk out with Al Green. Here's the thing. Reese said it's giving Cobra Kai. I just feel like all of this is, again, political theater. Cory Booker has been a clown. I've met Cory Booker. I rarely am going to say words like that unless I done experienced your clownery myself. Cory Booker came to CAA, Creative Artists Agency, when I was represented by them back in, I want to say 2016, 2017. And they had invited a number of us to come and be in a conference room with him. I would say there may have been about like 35 of us. I remember Leslie Odom Jr. was one of the other people there. And so he sat there and talked and whatever. And then finally, he opened the floor for questions. And so I asked, what is the plan? Because it seems like you guys often are always talking about what these people are doing. But so the first question I asked him was, what is the actual reason they're doing these things? Can it just be because of hatred? What is the actual reason for these behaviors? Because this is during the Trump administration. And he didn't have an answer. And I said, well, how can you actually root it out if you don't know what the root of it is? And he was like, well, we don't really consider that to be necessary. And I was just like, I don't know anybody who considers the removal of a cancer without knowing the source of it. And yes, Adriana, it's not a smoke bomb, because in Turkey, was it Turkey or Hungary where they dropping smoke bombs? They not playing with them. It still passed, but they weren't playing with them. I just feel like when I was there talking to him and I was asking, why do you all continue to have a messaging problem? These people over here have a very clear message. We're going to make America white again. Why can't y'all come up with what y'all are going to do? And the truth is they could never come up with what they're going to do because they're not driven by anything but dollars and just being the other and doing that in the most benign of ways. Cory Booker is a Zionist and he takes Zionist money. It's all that. It's all that. And the staffers absolutely should have been quit. All them staffers, all those young staffers on the Hill who be sending anonymous messages to Dear White Staffers account on Instagram. I'm just like, what, get out of there. But everyone wants to feel like, no, but I have to be they'll tell themselves that it's like, well, if I don't, then I won't have a job. No, you want a future in this BS. His disposition during my questions was, a politician, just like a fake smile, the kind of smiles that we would have to put on our faces when we were on The Real. So then after, I was standing outside waiting for my car at valet. And shout out to LA. That was such an LA sentence. After I was standing outside waiting for my car at valet, and he jogged over to me. I need to demonstrate it for you because it still bothers me to this day. Because it was like, are you going to run? You going to walk? What are you doing? Are you jogging? And he was like, it was like, you even fake run? What are we doing? I just feel like I'm in a constant quest for an authenticity that just will never exist. But he came over to talk to me and I was just like, essentially, I don't believe you. You need more people. I don't know what we're here to do right now. And he's just a very disingenuous person. And it's very clear that everything he does is to try to be the next Black president. That's what it is. He wants to be the next Hakeem Jeffries. He wants to be the next Black president. He just, it's just all corny to me. So I'm glad to hear that you guys are, because I thought maybe I'm being cynical. I thought maybe I'm being cynical. Maybe I'm just, kind of jaded. But it seems like some of y'all agree that, not some, most of y'all agree that this really is the problem. These folks, these are the ones in the way. That's really the problem. That's what I think. We could sit here and say all day that MAGA is the worst. Yes, that is That's obvious. Like, that's like, what are we talking about? A spade is a spade. MAGA is the worst. Yeah. But again, then what? Thank you, Jazzar. What is their plan after he finishes talking? Okay, so Mackenzie says he was gallivanting. You know what I wanted? You know what my brain wanted this to say? He's a galvanator. That's what my brain tried to make this positive. My brain really tried so hard to make this positive. So Delisa says, if you're in the way, you are part of the problem. And that's just what it is. Can I tell you what Kamala said to me about a year ago? I've said it so many times, you're going to have to wait for the book now. So Aline Ross says, if he stays up there, he can keep bills from being passed. But like you said, then what? They pass them tomorrow? Yes. And they just passed bills. Like, Galvanator, squad up. So I think this is, it's just interesting to me to see so many people be like, this is exactly what I was looking for. This is exactly what I was looking for. So interesting, Shamika, a 70-year-old Democrat knocked on your door petitioning for the next mayor. You questioned him down and was like, where y'all at? You guys are quiet. How are you spreading info in this hood? Not getting my sign. I had a similar experience. So I had a 70-year-old Democrat knock on my door. And she actually lives across the street from me. And we hadn't met yet. And she was like, hi. So we're getting signatures for petitions for Democrat candidates. And I was like, what you think these Democrats gonna do? And she was like, not much. But and so then I'm like, okay, now we're in the conversation. And she was just telling me about how there were factions that are really taking over here in the part of town where I live. And I said, ma'am, can I ask you a question? Yes. And I said, are you a Zionist? And she said, well, I don't think so. Well, I don't think so. Oh my gosh. When I tell you that will live in my head rent free forever and ever and ever. And I was like, well, let me just tell you, a lot of white people, y'all will not call a thing a thing. And so because you won't, you are handicapping yourself from being able to actually fight other things that act exactly like them. So if you would actually acknowledge the problematic behaviors and the ways in which the Zionists operate, how they have infiltrated our government, how they really operate like a gang, because y'all won't admit that, it prevents you from being able to actually call other things that are doing the exact same thing what they are and being able to challenge it. And she was like, you're not wrong. I don't actually think she's a Zionist. No, she it was a very genuine, like, that had not occurred to me. No, I'm telling you, it was a very genuine, like, that had not occurred to me. There's a lot. I don't think y'all understand. Outside of this bubble that we're in, there's just a lot of stuff that is not coming across people's table. It's just not. Like, it's not in their consciousness. Like, she's over here doing Democrat petitioning. She's not paying attention to Palestine. I mean, it's just what it is. And that's why we have to do so much work to continue to keep people abreast and informed. Sometimes it's privilege. Sometimes it's ignorance. Sometimes it's you're siloed. I mean, I can promise you that I know a lot of non-privileged Black people that don't know a thing about a Zionist. They like, is that a rapper? Like, so let's not get ourselves in this little group on a high horse. I think we need to remind ourselves that in the United States, information is a privilege that is very limited. Okay? And the people are actively actively dumbed down. I was on VH1 and I was working on a new show, and I was going to be the star of the show. It was a talk like this, and the execs at VH1 told the EP, listen, this channel is viewed by 18 to 26-year-old Black women who don't read. So we need to make content that they want. Now, for me, I'm like, oh, then that means we need to do this, because they're not doing it. And they're like, no, that means that we need to make more of the nonsense they're consuming, because that's what they've decided that they want to consume. So that being said, when she said, I don't think so, I was not offended. And I didn't get it. She didn't say it from a place of snideness. It seemed like I genuinely hadn't considered that until now. And she's like, well, my son-in-law's Jewish, and I was like, yeah, but the two are not equally synonymous. They're not mutually exclusive. She went on to tell me that she was a history teacher for 25 years. And that then she went on to be a financial planner, and now she's retired. And we had a good conversation. And one of the things that I test white people with is I'll just say something regarding race and see what they respond to. Because as a comic and as an empath, I can feel energy shift really quickly. So I had met some of the other neighbors and I said, Black don't crack. And I could feel their energy be like, okay. Then, with her though, she was like, when I said white people, she didn't flinch. You know what I'm saying? She didn't, it was like, I'm listening. And then when, she was running down the candidates to me, she was saying, okay, well, this candidate, this is a Black woman, she's a judge, da, da, da. But she didn't say she didn't pitch her Blackness to me. She stated it as a fact. She didn't pitch it. So this is a Black, right? No. And then I was like, okay. So then she was like, this next candidate is a cop. I said, Kathy, I don't do cops. And she was like, he also, yeah, he does have a bit of a sordid past, if you ask me. He is a Black guy, and he's this. And I was like, well, so is Derek Adams. And she was like, you're not wrong. Yeah, empath-esh is not for the weak. It's a lot. It's a lot. So, and I want to also point out that the term Zionist, depending on where you heard it, may not be contextualized in its true form. Want to put that out as well. So that's what we're doing. We are agreeing that Cory Booker sitting up here talking ain't really about nothing. All right. That's what I wanted to know. and that's what we got to the bottom of. So there we have it. Real quick, I'm gonna do some Black Curate news real quick. Okay, real quick, because I really want y'all to know about what's being voted on.
Black Curate news. Politics. Black Curate news. Pop culture. Black Curate news. Sports. Black Curate news. Justice.
All right. So in Black Curate news, there's some bills on the flow. Get it on the flow. Get it on the flow. There's some bills on the flow. Get them off the flow. We really need to get them off the flow. We really do. All right. Let's talk about it. So the House has got some things that are coming across their desk. And they are being voted on. Some of them have already passed through the Senate. And this is not to be taken lightly. Okay? Not to be taken lightly. I'm not sure why I can't find it in my notes. Did I miss a piece of paper? Oh, here it is. Okay. So first of all, they are going to be voting on overturning the CFBP cap. This has actually already happened in the Senate. They've already voted on this, okay? And the Senate voted 52 to 48. So that means that there were Democrats who voted for this. The Senate voted 52 to 48 in favor of overturning the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau's overdraft fees that banks can charge. So if you don't know, overdraft fees are when you accidentally take out more than you had in the bank and the bank penalizes you for that. Now, for what it's worth, banks are Ponzi schemes. The reality of banks is that everybody's money is in there, but it's being used to cover each other. And they don't have the same amount of money that you put in. So if everybody came to the same bank today to withdraw their money, it would be a problem. And if you've ever tried to withdraw a large sum of money, you know they make it a problem because they like, we gotta make sure we got this in the back. Sometimes they will have to ship it. Okay? I've never had that experience, but I know people who have had. So the whole idea of charging you for what they are unjustly doing is wild. Now they are really looking to continue making this even harder for the regular people because, again, this doesn't affect people who have money. This only harms people who don't have money. And I am concerned because what is the next step after overturning the CFPP cap? So now if they give you a higher overdraft fee, right? That doesn't mean that you are going to be less likely to overdraft. You didn't overdraft on purpose. So now, if you have a higher overdraft fee, what becomes the repercussion for that? Criminality? Because what's happening right now is ultimately the effort is being made to create a free labor force. That's what's being made to create a free labor force that they can sell to other countries. They're trying to make this country privatized so that every sector of it is able to be sold. That's the point. And in order to make the most money off of that, you have to have the cheapest labor. Look at other nations that do this and that have this. And 9 times out of 10, it's because their economy was destabilized by the United States. So here we are, and they want to overturn this cap that will absolutely create more financial duress for the regular people. And I have no doubt in my mind that what's coming behind this is a punitive response. Now, somebody said, Jamia, that's crazy. So now I got to see what Jamia done said. My bank has charged me for taking out my money too many times. Like, it's insane. It's insane. Yes, Connie, it's a poor tax. Chase is absolutely the worst at fees. Chloe, great question. Why are we helping the banks? Because ultimately the banks are the only place where these rich people can continue to keep their money. And then you, of course, have the checking scenarios. You have like you get charged if you don't have a certain amount of money in your account. I mean, it's bugged out and absolutely unacceptable. And I can tell you, they're now coming for the credit unions. So people are always like, "Oh, go to a credit union," but they come into that too. Okay, they come into that too. And y'all are like, "I'm trying to leave Chase." I was at Citi, then I went to Bank of America. I was at Bank of America, then I went to Chase. So it's going to be illegal to be poor soon. This is Chloe Johnson. They're destabilizing the U.S. That's why it will be illegal to be poor soon. That's why the 13th Amendment still stands. Yes. And that is why we are being loud about this. It's going to be illegal to be poor. And that what that means in reality, right, is that if it's illegal to be poor, that means it's illegal to not have a home. That means it's illegal to get free food. That means it's illegal. You understand? So once you create that type of system, people then have to take whatever they can get. So now people end up in slavery scenarios, even if it's not through the 13th Amendment and being in jail. It becomes, I'm trying to avoid that, so I'm willing to go do this. Another bill that they are ruling on in the House is the No Rogue Ruling Acts. The No Rogue Ruling Act. This would limit the power of judges such as Boasberg. So James Boasberg is the federal judge who ruled against President Trump's deportation of the Venezuelan gang members to El Salvador. You know, the one that they ignored and sent it anyway. So they're saying that they want to make it so that federal judges do not have the power to impose upon nationwide injunctions. By the way, they're called federal judges. Federal meaning nationwide. It would restrict injunctive relief only to the parties of a case before the district court. So they're wanting to make federal judges just a higher level of judge in district court. And the reality is that the reason why there are federal judges all over the nation is because, one, it diversifies perspective, but two, it's a caseload situation. It goes through that layer before it goes to the Supreme Court. They are federal judges acting on behalf of the United States. What they want to do is impeach judges. That's what they want to do. So Republican senators, however, so this was a surprise for me, are warning that any efforts to impeach James Boasberg, this federal judge, who was by the way, he was put in place by Bush. Okay? He was appointed by Bush and then reappointed by Obama. Republican senators are warning that any efforts to impeach him would be dead on arrival in the Senate. Very surprised. Senior Senate Republicans also say they will oppose any effort by Speaker Mike Johnson to defund federal courts that rule against Trump's agenda, sending a message that they want to de-escalate Trump's war against the federal judiciary. I'm genuinely shocked by this because Mike Johnson has even floated the idea of just getting rid of federal courts altogether. So we'll see what SCOTUS says. You're right, Sandy. We'll see what SCOTUS says because SCOTUS is basically in a position where they are hemmed up. They have been the most powerful, and now they are being challenged to give away their power. Congress has already halfway done that. The House of Representatives has given up their power. It seems like the Senate is still saying, we still not trying to just be over here, like some drunts. The last thing I want to talk about that they're going to be voting on is the SAVE Act. The SAVE Act is now on the floor. The SAVE Act says that you cannot vote if your driver's license or ID of any kind doesn't match your birth certificate. So if you are a wife who changed your name, or a trans person who has changed your name, or anybody who has changed your name from your birth certificate, you now would no longer be able to vote. That is millions of people. Millions of people. And yes, Fatima, these names are funny because they're the complete opposite. Yes. Also, this affects service members. The SAVE Act would cause service members to have to come to the United States in order to register to vote. Huh? So here Jamia says, that knocks out my whole family. 5 exclamation points. Correct. They don't want married women voting. Do you hear me? They don't want married women voting. Actually, I stand corrected. The service members have to come back to vote, not to register. Service members have to come back to vote. Explain that to me. So now the military members will be serving, but not able to be a voter? Huh? Every day that I turn on the TV, I see white women presented as the savior. Whether this is in a real movie, fantasy, sci-fi, animation, white women are always the savior. Star Wars, episode 7, 8, 9, white lady, right? White lady, white lady, white lady. I want to know, y'all gonna save yourselves? The white women in here, you talking to these other white women? Because I'm trying to understand. Are y'all cool with this? Because voting, essentially is how you are represented. And even though federally, I believe voting has been some BS, on a local level, it is very important. And tomorrow I'll talk about what Louisiana just did. But I just really feel like I'm tired of seeing the white women presented as saviors in every form of fiction, but in real life, I don't see it. I don't see it. So now we wait. We see how the votes are going to go. These are very, very, very big deals. And I don't know that all of the Republicans would be willing to vote on these in this way, because it would mean that their constituencies would turn, against them. But I think that they're not expecting to have a midterm anyway. Here's the reason why I don't think that they're going to have a midterm. I don't think they're going to have a midterm because ultimately the people that they have in place right now are the people who are showing, hey, we will do what needs to get done. We don't need a majority. We don't need a major majority. We will do what needs to be done. And they're not going to create the opportunity for that to be disrupted. This is happening right now because the people in place have been vetted and have agreed to go along with it. Someone like Rand Paul, they're going to get him out of there in some way. Absolutely. Remember I said it. They're going to get Rand Paul out of there because he didn't go along with it. I be knowing. You're going to see Democrats flipping. Absolutely. You're going to see Democrats changing their party. I be knowing. So these are the things that we can anticipate. And I'm bringing them to our attention so that we don't place false hope in them. And we, again, I believe, are going to be the only sources for our saving. I don't think Black people should be out in large numbers protesting, because I think that it does create the opportunity for them to bring violence among protests and further vilify and add more numbers to the prison industrial complex that they are seeking to bolster. That being said, there are other ways to resist. And I believe that. Let's just have like a comedy moment real quick before I do my PSA and we get out of here. Okay, let's just do that. Let's just have a nice little comedy moment.
How black do you feel today?
A 9-year-old boy talking to his father. Daddy, what is politics? The boy asks a pertinent question. Father had to think now to give him a pertinent answer. What is politics? Father, haughty brains, he says, son, let me put it this way. I have to provide for you. So I am the capitalist, you are the people. Your mother does keep the money. She is the government. The babysitter is the working class, and your baby brother is the future. You understand? Well, the boy couldn't put that jigsaw puzzle together. He said, yeah, I think so. He gone to bed and he's sleeping. While he's sleeping, he hear a little baby brother crying. He went and peep in the room and see the diaper in a mess. So he tried to communicate with the mother. Mommy sung asleep. He decided not to disturb she. He gone to the babysitter. When he watch in the room, daddy having an affair with the babysitter. He decided not to disturb them either. So he go and tuck away in bed and he sleep. In the morning, he get up, they having breakfast. He said, Dad, I think I know what is politics. He said, good. Tell me in your own small way, what is politics? He said, well, Dad, it's something like this. While the government is asleep, the capitalists cruise the working class. The people are ignored while the future is in deep shit.
Trinity Bo, and that is comedian John Agitation. And you know what? I agree with everything he said. Amanda Land. PSA. So today is All Fool's Day. It's April 1st. But I don't want to be a fool. And sometimes I be feeling like I'm being foolish. Because if I admit it, there are still small inklings of expecting some type of protection, right? Like, it's like, oh, they're not going to do that. Of course they can. You hear about folks who are leaving the States and being detained, having their phones and computers, even though they are citizens, taken from them. You have folks being pulled from the streets that never thought that they wouldn't be. We're told that they're safe, and here they are not. And if you haven't started thinking about how this is going to come to you, then you are still harboring a certain level of American exceptionalism that they've put within our minds. And I got to tell you, I get it. It's been ingrained in us. It's literally undoing codependency. We have been trained to be codependent with this nation. And when I say codependent, meaning attached to it in a way where no matter what happens, we are very deeply affected in a manner in which we can't control our own livelihoods, our own emotions, etc., and where our allegiance to it is supposed to be what gives us value. Our allegiance and commitment to it is supposed to be what legitimizes us. And that's what this whole patriot thing is. It's not to each other. It's to this idea of this nation that don't ever even demonstrate the idea. So we naturally would be sucked up into that. And then you're trying to undo it. And so I find myself having to check myself that no matter how bad it gets for other people, you are a part of those people and it can get bad for you. Do not think that Jesus is going to save you. Do not think that hope is going to save you. Do not think that this leftover, the vestiges of your American exceptionalism can still be relied on as real. They're not real and they never were real. But you know what's the real is that we deserve it. Everything that's happening to this nation, we deserve it. I say we, meaning I'm here. I benefit from the harm this nation infringes upon the world. And it puts you in a very frustrating catch-22 position because you are linked to this thing that does whatever it wants, and you are trying to detach yourself from it, and it seems like it's not possible to do. You can't detach from it while still being a part of it because democracy is not real. If democracy here was real, you could detach from it and then effectively undermine it and shift it. But what they're doing now, you can't. And we have all been, so many of us have been so duly indoctrinated to thinking we were in a democracy that we didn't take it and make it our responsibility to shift it. And we say things like, well, what happens over there, it don't matter. We got to work on us. And we haven't been working on us either. So I hate that line too. Because so many folks thought, well, civil rights movement happened. So now let's get to living life for real, which really meant now let's get to getting white access and making money, which is necessary, but not continuing to demand making change that is long lasting beyond dollars. Change that actually shifts culture. Change that actually gives more opportunity for other changes. The SAVE Act is only possible because the 1965 Voting Rights Act was gutted in 2009. And these Democrats let it happen. Never forget that Biden had a majority in the House and the Senate when he came in office. He could have put executive orders out there. Then they could have followed up with bills. They could have got all that stuff through. Anywho, I say that we are all culpable because guilt and shame are two different things. I was reading this book recently called Conquering Codependency and Shame. And she identifies the difference between guilt and shame. Shame is debilitating. Shame does not have any actions that rid it because it is applied to you regardless. Guilt has action behind it. Guilt gives you the ability to at least apologize and to course correct, to not be guilty again. When they're teaching about the actual history of this nation in schools, they are not shaming children. They are acknowledging the guilt of the past and the present so that it can be corrected. If we now do not acknowledge our guilt as a part of the culpability of what has been taking place, we will not consider it our responsibility to be a part of the change. So when I see Americans, particularly Black folks, who act as if, well, we're Black, so we are not culpable, I hate to break it to you. I really do. Several things can be true at one time. We can be victims and villains simultaneously. That's what it is to be American. PSA. Woo! Hey, come on, come on. Show your love. Show your love. You didn't think they would seek the death penalty for Luigi Mangione? Of course. Hello? Absolutely. I said, hit me with a super duper doo-woo-wooper. What we did today was talk about a lot. And we've got some more tomorrow. So happy to be back. It's been a long time. And I am not filled with sorrow. I'm here for you and you're here for me. And we're here for us in Amanda Land community. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Show your love, show your love, show your love, show your love. Say show your love, show your love. Drop a super. Thank y'all so much for being with us. We talked about a lot today, and we had to. And tomorrow we got more show, Monday through Wednesday, 10 a.m. to whenever we finish. Remember, this is Views from Amanda Land, your news, your source for news, truths, and anything. What am I saying? Your source of news and truth by any joke necessary. Remember, we are each other's business. When we look out for each other, we lift each other up. Thank you, Mira, who says, this is why I support you, Amanda. We can be villains and victims at the same time. You break it down for everyone in the room. Thank you, my good sis. As we move on with the rest of our day and get into our moment of stillness, I want to remind you that I would like for us to use these moments of stillness to lift up and to name the nameless. There are a lot of people who have found themselves wrapped up in the tyranny and the evil and the villainy that is taking place, that we're actually coming here to escape it. I don't actually apply villainy to them because they were coming here to escape it in their own place. And they thought that this was actually going to be a place of morals. They thought that this was actually going to be a place where they would be safe. And they're learning the hard way that America has been a lie. But we can be the truth. Let's lift up their names. Let's lift up the nameless. And let's lift up each other. I'll see you tomorrow, y'all. 30 seconds of stillness. I enjoyed laughing and learning with you. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And tell your friends. Also, listen to the podcast. It's available everywhere pods are casted. Listen ad-free by subscribing to Patreon Amanda Seals. Come on and join the Seals Squad. Views from Amanda Land. Live 10 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Wednesday, with content on Thursday and Friday at YouTube Amanda Seals TV.